What's up, my good peoples? Welcome to the Be Transformed podcast, where we're talking about ideas that stimulate wholesome thinking onto identity, purpose, vision, and action. I am James Anderson, and with me is Logan Eaton and Kyle Enterman, my good bros. What's cracking?
What's crackling? How you guys doing?
Excellent.
It's wonderful.
Good to be back.
Good to be back.
Have you ever had any? We talked about crackling before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to throw mine away.
You can only do one piece of that, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got old.
Got old and crunchy.
Yeah. Too crunchy.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I got softer. It's supposed to be crunchy, but it turned into softer
soft
stuff.
crackling.
Yeah. Didn't have the crackle.
Soft crackles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting to be about bike season out there, huh?
What kind of bike season?
Just
Motor? Pedal?
That or pedal bikes, yeah.
Yeah,
Huffies,
absolutely.
yeah.
Huffies?
Yeah, maybe some trailblazing.
Whoa, on a Huffy?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever hear of the Free Spirit bike?
No.
That bike made it.
You got one?
Huh?
You got one?
I used to.
Set it free.
I did have to
Is that
set
the
it
one
free.
from the garage sale? Yeah, that was sweet.
One of a kind, yeah. The Wright brothers.
That one got you. That one
Manufactured
got you around.
Did you give that one to somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
I think I did.
You did.
But I didn't use it that much, so
Just every
it's
day.
a win-win for me.
Just
It
twice
happens,
a day.
man.
But besides that, never
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
that.
Just to get
Happens.
everywhere, but
Yeah. those were the days, man.
Those were the days
Yeah.
Yep.
So
of our lives.
here we are. Trying to-
Yeah, I used to have a bike. Well, I have a bike, but I used to have a bike that it got me everywhere. I had a backpack.
Yeah.
Go to the laundromat.
Nice.
All my clothes in my backpack. Go to the grocery store. All on the bike.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Go to work. Bike.
Was that out in
Who's the-
Cali?
The time of the bike. That was in my early days in Missouri.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yes.
Bet it was good exercise.
Good exercise. Yeah.
Weather was pretty good.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they had some trails. I took that baby. It was kind of like a free spirit, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
And
free
boy,
spirit.
it made my spirit free.
Man, do you remember when I fell off my bike on that trail?
No. When did you fall off?
Remember we went on that trail up in Napoleon,
Yeah.
and I went flying down that hill. And
Up
then
on Mount Everest.
yeah, and
When we
I
were on the
fell
Black
off the-
Diamond.
yeah, I fell off the trail. The bike went off the trail, and
wow.
then I fell off the bike. So it was actually a lose-lose in this situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Or maybe I hit a tree. I forget which one
That
it
wasn't
was.
Mm.
One of us hit a tree, I think.
It's not a good ride until you hit a tree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't know there was trails out in Napoleon.
Yeah,
There
they
are,
got some trails out behind this park.
Cool.
Yeah.
You should take your motorbike.
Motorbiker out
Or
there?
sorry, your
Man, it'd be
motorcycle.
way easier to get up the hills. Little motor.
My sweet motorcycle bike.
Motorcycle
That
bike.
thing's sweet.
Yeah. Little
Yeah.
moped.
Cruising around.
Yeah.
Gosh, if it sounds like that, it sounds
Yeah.
like it's a crappy
I
bike.
can see you going over a hill. You're detached from the bike, spread eagle. Falling down. Ah!
Right. Yeah. It's a fun little ride, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans this summer to take it somewhere or do anything?
Good question. Not that I know of right now.
Man, you have no life.
Yeah. I haven't gotten that far with my motorcycle skills.
Oh.
Or I guess I'm not a die hard cyclist yet. Not that you have to be a diehard, but I haven't ventured into
A living hard cyclist?
Yeah. I haven't ventured into that realm of taking it, traveling places.
Live hard?
Yeah. Yeah. I would, if I knew what to do, what to,
If I liked it,
I
or
guess-
was any good at it,
yeah.
it'd be great.
I mean, you got to know like when it starts raining and how to be safe out there.
How to
Sure.
put on the poncho.
Dude.
Dude.
A lot of lightning.
You
out
just
there in
pull
the
up
summer.
under the overpasses. That's what everybody else does.
Yeah.
Or you just try to outrun the.
You ever thought
Storm.
about going on a road trip with someone?
Like on the back?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm
Logan?
not a big fan of driving.
I
I know you'd be on the back.
on the back of the
You don't
bike.
have
Oh.
to, you don't have to drive.
Yeah.
You just hold on.
Oh, you're talking about, yeah.
Just wrap your arms
Yeah.
around his
By then
waist
my hair
and
might
call
be-
it a day.
Get a rear car.
Yeah.
One of those cars on the rear that kind of comes down.
Yeah.
I can just sit back there. And you
I
pull
think
me
they're on the side.
in a trailer.
Oh. I gotcha.
No, sidecars are too dangerous. I'd rather have
A rear car.
I'd rather have a rear car.
Rather be in the boot.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyways, yeah. If you want to do that, then sure.
Sure. Definitely do something like that for sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm free for the. I'm free.
What you got planned next week?
Absolutely nothing.
Busy.
We could just we can hook a grocery cart up to the back of it,
Yeah, those.
and you can pull me.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at about 40, 45, 50 miles an hour tops, probably. She's not a super fast
Yeah,
bike.
I'd say those carts could handle 30 or 40 miles an
Yeah.
hour. Trust me.
Yeah, I
I've
think
been
so.
down a
I
hill or
think
two.
so. Logan.
I've hit one going 40 or 50 miles an hour.
Mm.
You have.
So I think they could handle it.
Wow.
Well, when you
maybe
pay, when you put a quarter in at Aldi, you can just keep the cart.
Mhm.
You bought it, right? That's what happens. You put the quarter in and you buy the
Yeah.
cart.
I wish somebody would come and pick those up. I've got like 16 of them at my apartment.
Did you do any shopping at Aldi's lately?
No, I've been going to Meijer.
Have you?
Oh,
Aldi's doesn't have some of the stuff I buy, like some certain ingredients to stuff. They just don't carry it.
Salt, pepper.
I'm trying to think of what I had to buy it last time. Like they don't have chopped onions at
Moose
Aldi.
hair. No, they
Which
Chopped.
You got
you
you got
got whole
you
onions.
got to chop them yourself.
Oh, they have stuff that you
Self chop.
can, really?
This is the self chop aisle.
Yeah.
I thought they had
Maybe they do. I just haven't found them. I don't
okay.
know.
Okay.
You,
Yeah,
you
that's-
found some chopped onions.
No, I just thought that I didn't know they had chopped onions like that, like already packaged up and everything.
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
just like a little lady in the back who chops.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
I'm not a huge fan of the onions. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Some of the stuff calls for it, but
Mm,
I don't
it's true.
know.
It's true.
But yeah, Aldi has limited selection, so you got to be really. I don't know. If you're really trying to make something like a recipe,
right.
sometimes it's not the best place to go,
Like chili.
unless the recipe
Chili
is
from
just
a can.
unless the recipe is
Those
already made
recipes.
That's true.
Those
or a
recipes
frozen
are
thing.
hard. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
Hot
I could go
pockets.
for some frozen waffles right now.
What?
That's what I thought of.
You got some in the freezer?
Have you ever
Huh?
have you
No.
ever had the corn dogs, which like the outside is a pancake and the inside is a sausage,
Oh yeah.
No,
but they look like
Wow.
but they're like hot. They look like
gosh.
corn dogs. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Those
does
are
Aldi have
good.
those?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Meyer definitely has those.
Maybe I'll go there again this week.
Put them in a
It's right
little
next to the
waffle
chopped
syrup.
onions.
Oh man, yeah.
Sure.
Jeez, have you had anything good this week to eat?
Some meatloaf yesterday. That was
Cool.
good.
You made it?
From the Salvation Army.
Mm.
Yeah, the guys make it. You get good
Oh,
food
nice.
there. Yeah, yeah.
Sweet.
That's one of the perks. Yeah, it's good stuff. I used to not like meatloaf as a kid, but
Sweet and sour.
no, just some ketchup on top.
Yeah, ketchup.
Yeah, that's good. I like it with some mashed potatoes.
Oh.
Sounds really good. Did you have anything good this week to eat?
What's today?
National Taco Day.
I think it's Sunday.
Sure.
No, it's not Sunday.
I had some Jimmy John's
Nice.
JJ.
What sub do you get
for
there?
dinner and lunch. I get the roast beef with some hot peppers. Some number
man,
10.
Sounds good. Toasted?
And they don't toast it over there. They keep it
Oh.
simple and they yell
Keep
at you
it simple.
if you ask for anything other than what's on there.
Wait, did you say you
But,
went to J Giants?
Yeah, Jay
Okay.
Jeanette's. But yeah, so they came out with like the giant sub, which
Mhm.
is essentially 2 sandwiches, and it's just like it's essentially the cost of 2 sandwiches minus 50 cents. But it's interesting because I would never have bought 2 sandwiches, but because they have the Giant, I buy the Giant. It's just interesting.
Well, you're saving
Right.
2 quarters though,
I'm
50
saving-
cents.
Yes, exactly. But it's like, the sandwich has always left me wanting, a couple inches more. But when you get the Giant, essentially you eat one whole sandwich and then
Mhm.
you have another sandwich
a
for
whole
later.
meal.
Yeah.
For the next time.
It's kind of amazing.
Dang. Man, I'm hungry. I just freaking ate.
You did just
Some
eat.
JJ's.
Why is that
some
possible?
Jeanettes. Yeah, the old mind parts.
Do you think
It's the body cooking.
Do you think my stomach has the wrong chemicals in it?
Oh my gosh, like diesel.
It seems like it. Seems like it's burning stuff up pretty quick.
Whoa, is that
Shaq
what that
diesel.
smell is?
Could be. Could be.
Huh?
Could be.
Could
I
be.
think it's just
got the wrong
That smell
Yeah.
is
the wrong octane in there.
teriyaki.
teriyaki scent.
Yeah, maybe it's that. It's really burning stuff up.
Is that the deodorant scent you have these days? Teriyaki. Teriyaki Dons.
Uday teriyaki.
Armpits.
Yeah, I do.
Used to have a cologne called Uday Toilette.
No way.
Yeah. I still remember 7th grade.
They had a toilet deodorant called Poopery.
Uday Toilette. Well,
That sounds
Poopery,
French. Yeah, Poopery. Did you ever see Poopery? There's a commercial on YouTube.
okay.
It's hilarious.
And you
Really?
spray it on. It's like body spray.
You spray it on
Or
the
butt
water before
Oh.
you go,
Oh.
Oh.
and it creates this.
So you spray
this-
the toilet with it,
Yeah, not your butt
not you.
or you. Yeah, whatever. Sorry, we're getting. Yeah, it's a
You
mature
just spray
audience.
the toilet down with that stuff.
You spray the toilet
sm-
down, and it
smells pretty
traps
good.
the smell in, traps, doesn't let it come out
Right
of the
inside
water.
there.
Creates
Oh,
a
wow.
barrier. Yeah, but the commercial's hilarious. This girl's just sitting on a toilet, like in the middle of, like a cow pasture with cows everywhere.
Oh wow.
It's, just,
Right.
it's pretty funny.
Wow.
And then
This is-
right
so-
along, what? Go ahead.
Nothing.
Go ahead.
Huh?
But
you,
then,
you should keep going.
but then right along with that, then is the next commercial you have to watch is the Squatty Potty.
Oh, you showed me that one.
Is hilarious. Where there's essentially a unicorn
Mhm.
who poops out soft serve ice cream
Oh, wow.
that they give to the kids, and then they give the kids toilet paper to wipe their faces with.
It's like rainbow colored though.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. That's where ice cream came from, if you didn't know.
Nice, dude.
That's a real product though, isn't it?
The Squatty Potty, not unicorn poop, but the Squatty Potty.
Yeah. The actual thing.
Yeah,
they're
apparently it was on Shark Tank or something, and then they sold it to a bunch of hospitals and
Mm.
stuff.
Wow.
Whatever, but yeah.
Squatty potty.
It's
Dang.
the old Squatty Potty.
Poopery. Oh, kind of like
Poopery.
potpourri.
Yeah, but poo instead of po.
They could have
Mm.
just called it potpourri, and then you just sprayed it on the toilet.
Yeah,
But it doesn't have to say so.
or you could eat poopery, and then that would solve the problem too. Give it a nice little scent.
Well, it sounds like you could. It sounds like you can spray it on your body. Too.
It's like an Axe body spray, poopery,
A lot of options
or
out there.
all a day
lot
toilet.
of
What'd you call it?
Uday Toilette.
Uday.
Yeah. Did you? Doesn't toilet mean bathroom in French? In France?
Probably.
Doesn't toilet mean bathroom?
I thought it did. That's what I used to say. When I
Water
took French.
closet.
Oh, the water closet.
That's
Bonjour
like that.
water closet.
But I think that's in like England.
Je m'appelle water closet.
Oh yeah. Could be.
Did you ever get any dates with that cologne?
No.
I wonder why.
They weren't.
Because it wasn't your
Their
looks.
taste. Yeah. Was the smell? Yeah. Taste just wasn't doing it, man. The smell of it. You ever tasted cologne? It's terrible.
No.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought some were water. Some was water. One time when I was
really?
little,
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
it was
Yeah.
like clear. I thought it was water.
Yeah.
It was
But
not.
it wasn't.
You ever sprayed on a flame?
It's like the worst
Ah.
Kool-Aid.
Lights right up.
No.
The alcohol-based
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Nope.
Potent.
Flammable.
No,
Made
but I think it was my brother's, so I don't know. Uday
Did it smell
Toilet.
pretty good?
Uday
I don't remember,
toilet.
man.
Mm.
I think it probably did.
Probably.
Some of the rare stuff.
But I didn't
does
use
smell
deodorant
right,
until I
yeah.
was 16. So
I said probably.
You used it until you were 16?
I didn't use
or
deodorant
not
until I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
Yeah, I was like, what's this stuff? I guess you're supposed to wear deodorant or something.
Yeah. I would just
Mm.
put it on my neck.
Yeah,
Right
rub it on your nose and get it all over there. Yeah.
The old like white stuff.
Yeah.
Have a white stripe.
On
Yeah.
Baywatch, they had the white nose. So
Yeah.
Yeah. You just figure it out when you're
racing
young.
stripes.
Yeah. Yep. Figure it out when you're young.
So yeah, it was. I don't know.
Just work it out.
7th grade was weird.
It was, man.
Jeez.
Hmm.
Man.
Those times.
Glad it only took 4 years to pass that grade.
Past puberty.
Glad it only took 16 years to get through puberty.
It's a weird time. Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
kind of there. Yeah. Now,
Yeah. Still in the process.
Kids can be weird, you know. And
Yeah,
mean-
trust me.
Mean too. Yeah. Mean and weird kids.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Mean and weird kids.
were you a
I
mean
did-
and weird kid, or
I
you?
was
were-
weird. I wouldn't say mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally weird.
Yeah. You were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
It's awkward times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I think they put in the yearbook just because I was weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
let's
you had
inter-
your own page.
Let's interview this guy and see what he has to say.
What makes you?
Now you had a
so
lot of hair when you were a junior, senior.
A freshman.
You- a
Just
freshman,
on,
you had a
just
fro-
on your
almost a-
arms.
Was it like a
no,
fro,
this-
you
it
said?
was,
Oh,
yeah.
wow, cool.
It was just really like it grows up
Mhm.
and out. So
Yeah.
it's just really curly. But I hated it. I don't know
Growing
why.
out. You look
I don't
like
know why I had it.
Napoleon Dynamite.
It was Napoleon Dynamite,
Oh
but
my
long. It was just a little
gosh.
bit bigger.
I'm sure you still got the picture around somewhere, don't you?
I do have one.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at, but I did have one.
Come on,
There's a
Mama.
football
Mama
picture.
Logan has one
She's
somewhere.
got them, yeah. I know she's got them, but no, that was a bad time. And then I got mad. I think one time and just shaved it all off, and just like it was like an egghead
Yeah.
style haircut.
I had the haircut where I buzzed the sides, but then I had long hair and I'd part it in the middle so it would like come over
What?
the shaved sides.
Sure.
Oh, that was big in the 90s, yeah.
It's like the bowl cut ish.
That was 90s style,
Yeah,
90s grunge.
that was all the yeah. I don't know if it was all the rage, but that's what I did.
Those were the styles, I guess.
Now I just
That was-
shave my head because I don't want to comb it
Yeah.
or wear a hat.
That was back when you could wear a button-up shirt and just let it hang around, and baggy pants,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a sandal
Just one,
or a shoe.
just one, or a sandal and a shoe.
Maybe, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You were a weird kid.
I remember having some weird clothes when I was
Really?
growing up. Yeah. Like wind pants. I thought those used to be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I don't think they were really. I think by the time I got wind pants, they were everyone was like, no, jeans.
The real loose, like the loose
Yeah.
wind pants. Yeah.
The baggy pants were. I used to like those, like the really baggy. I think it was like the cargo style.
Oh yeah, still my style. Well,
But
but
not-
shorts.
Yeah, the zip offs were. I liked those.
Hey, practical. If you don't know if you want pants or shorts, boom, zip them off.
Do you have any weird clothes?
Yeah, I had a pair of bell bottoms in senior year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with like platform shoes.
No, I didn't go that far. I got some, but they were girl bell bottoms.
Because they didn't make
Why did
guy
you
bell
have 'em?
bottoms.
I just thought that'd be funny to wear. I wore them for like 3 Fridays. I thought they were cool, like Friday wear.
Casual day.
To my
Casual
friend.
Friday.
AJ said that I was wearing girl pants.
You didn't know they were girl pants?
I knew they were, but
Oh,
he
okay.
had to. I was like, "Don't tell anyone they're girl jeans." And he's like,
Yeah.
"I was wearing girls
like,
jeans."
bro,
Like,
it
you know,
says
the
girl on the
long
butt.
hallway. He screamed it down the hallway. Yeah, it was too uncomfortable.
Then that was out.
That was it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's okay. You know,
That's why they don't
now,
invite
now
you.
you will wear
I
girl
mean,
pants all the time. It's
I'd
fine.
have to. Yeah, no, I want to wear them.
Oh.
Yeah, some weird clothes.
Mm.
Mm.
Nice.
So yeah,
A sleeveless sweater.
yeah, that's a good one.
Did you ever wear one of those?
Yeah, with a little white shirt underneath it.
The little vest.
Or no shirt underneath
Yeah,
in the summer?
ripped up shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, cowboy hat. There's a lot of
Cowboy
people-
boots and
lot of-
like
Yeah.
Daisy Dukes
A lot of people have cowboy hats where you went to school at, Logan.
in Texas.
No,
Yeah, it was in Northwest
In El
Ohio.
Paso,
it wasn't it Lima area? Was it
No,
also known as Findlay.
more Finley
Finley
area.
area?
Yeah. Why did people have cowboy hats at Anthony Wayne?
There's a couple. There's a couple people who did. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
My brother and I had we had some cowboy hats.
Mm-hmm.
My brother likes wearing them for fun though, not for
Just for fun. Yeah.
just for fun around the 4th of July or
Right.
something. Yeah.
When you are a man, you are a stranger. It's
You
for
wear a
fun.
cowboy hat.
You wear a cowboy
That's
hat.
for fun.
Mm.
But yeah,
Look at yourself in the mirror.
I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna wear a cowboy hat, you should have like a lasso or something or a cow,
Mm-hmm.
In your lasso, yeah.
not just wearing it just for
shoots.
just
Yeah.
for
Style.
Like if you're gonna wear it, like have the stuff
Like
to
wear
back it
some
up.
girl bell
yeah,
bottoms.
be
as
a
well.
bull
Yeah.
rider. Yeah.
I know those guys wear helmets.
Mm.
Mm.
Then be a goat wrangler
Okay.
if you're gonna wear one.
They just wear safety goggles.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
The old goat wrangler.
Back when where I grew up,
Goat wrangling was fun.
yeah, we had goat wrangling,
Like
chicken
yesterday.
wrangling.
Whoa.
Um,
Chicken
sometimes-
strangling.
Sometimes if the rats got big enough, you could rat wrangle,
Did you ever eat one
groundhog
of those things?
wrangling, huh?
You ever eat one of those things?
A chicken?
Giant
A
rat.
rat.
Oh, rat? No.
Chicken though.
Chicken? Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever eat?
a rat?
Yeah.
No.
Jerry?
Jerry. Yeah. Remember that little guy?
Jerry.
That little rat.
That little
rat
mouse.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute
jeez.
little fella.
I still have nightmares of him.
You carrying him
death.
around
Trying
in a
to-
trap
Yeah, dude.
all over the house, dripping blood.
Old
Body
Jerry,
was
man.
crushed. Yeah.
That's really why you had to get out of that house.
Old Jerry, bro.
Jerry.
He's just trying to hang out with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were just reading some Gideon or something.
Yeah.
Just jarring
And
around.
we just had to kill him.
Yeah.
Which
Sorry, buddy.
sounds morbid, but
Sounds correct.
it was
Yeah, he
it's
ran into,
accurate.
he ran into the cheese.
Yeah, he went
Yeah.
for
He
it.
went to the cheese, bro.
Logan had to set up the trap though.
Jeez
We were
Louise.
scared.
I don't remember
He
that.
ran to the cheese.
Yeah,
you
it was
know?
like super sensitive.
I thought we lit
You had to,
something on
like-
fire.
I think we like dynamite or something.
I thought we lit something on fire, and then he was attracted to that, and then he caught on
No.
fire.
Put some American cheese down there.
Cheese.
Cheese,
Some
little cheesers.
cowboy hat,
Cowboy
Girl-
cheese and
girl cargo pants. What you said? Bell bottom. American cheese. Yeah,
Yep.
nice.
cool.
70s were fun.
They were.
Sorry. 90s.
They're pretty
Indeed,
much the
indeed.
same.
Are you old enough to be in the 70s?
I wish. I wish. I feel like I was kind of born in them, you know?
Hmm?
Feel like I belong in them.
I feel like you're
Mm.
stuck in them.
I think so. And that's okay.
Sorry.
Like the 70s, man. That's where it's at.
I think you'd make a good
Remember when I
70s
had that
person.
mustache? You think I'd make a good
I think
70s
you would, yeah.
person? Yeah. Thank you. Like a rock star or what? Maybe like
yeah,
just
or a
cool
student or
student.
just a normal,
Just
Bell
person.
bottom wearing
it'd be cool.
maybe an astronaut.
platform shoes.
An astronaut, that'd be fun. I'd like to go back to the 70s.
Back to the Moon.
To the moon.
Did you ever watch that movie Back to the Past
No.
or Back to the Future?
Yeah, yeah. They took that. They took that DeLorean back there.
Yeah.
Full speed ahead. Remember that?
Yeah, you remind me of that guy. You might look like him when you
Fox
with the white
young
hair?
the
kid?
scientist.
The scientist.
scientist guy.
Great. Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. I just hope I turn out like one of the Wright brothers.
You will. Just,
Orville-
just keep
Orville,
dreaming.
the
Just
right
keep
one or
dreaming.
the
The
right one?
Just keep dreaming, buddy.
Orville and
Orville and Redenbacher.
Redenbacher.
Keep dreaming.
Keep flying.
I just wanna invent
keep
A
dreaming.
plane.
You want to invent a plane?
Or something like a plane, maybe.
I'm sure they have like,
Sweet bro plane.
yeah, designs or instructions
saucer.
online. Flying saucer, like a milk saucer.
Flying saucer.
Nice.
Yeah. So, what are we cultivating tonight?
Yeah. Yeah. What are we drinking out of the milk saucer tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about how the harvest is ripe.
Oh, the harvest is ripe.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Harvest of what?
Harvest of people.
Peeps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reaping a harvest of eternal life.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and we might get these mixed up. But there's John 4 and Mark 4 that we're talking about, but I think it's in John 4. Gosh,
that's not confusing at all.
I apologize. I'm going to get it
This
mixed
is John 4 or Mark 4?
Who can remember? I'm gonna get all these stories mixed up. It's gonna happen.
Okay.
But just know that they're all in the Bible. They might have happened at different times.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. So no. Okay. So at John 4, this is the woman at the well, and Jesus was hanging out with the lady. She leaves, goes back into the town to tell everybody what Jesus said to her. And in the meantime, the disciples come with some food, and they're like, hey, why don't you stop and eat? And Jesus is like, my food and my drink is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. He says, look, man, open your eyes. The harvest is ripe, right? He's like, even now, the one who reaps is, gathering a wage for what he harvests. And, he's like, I send you out to reap what somebody else sowed. He said somebody else did all the hard work, and you're going to reap the benefits, which was interesting. But just this concept that the harvest is ripe. And in Mark 4, he talks about how, let's see, getting them all mixed up here. There's a few of these, but he's talking about how, when a farmer plants a seed, and night or day, whether the farmer's awake or asleep, there or not there, the seed grows. He doesn't know how, but the earth makes it grow, right? Then he says like a little leaf pops up, then a stalk. Then it's like there's just all these signs, and there's this process to then at the point the grain is ready to be harvested, and then the farmer goes out and harvests it. And I was just thinking how, there's a process in which a seed becomes like fully grown. And there's like Paul was talking about one time. He says, he's talking about these people who are kind of getting confused. They're like, I believe in Paul, I believe in Peter, I believe in Apollos. And he's like, no, man, you guys are getting it all wrong. It's like we're just messengers. You're not believing in us, you're believing in God. But he's like, one of us waters, or one of us sows the seed, somebody else waters, but it's God who makes it grow. Mm-hmm. But I was just thinking about this process in which, like, sometimes when you think about like the harvest is ripe, you can kind of, I know I've definitely had thoughts in the past where it's like, do people actually want what it is that we have? Do people want the kingdom, or there's all these other religions and this kind of concept. But a seed belongs in the dirt, right? Like you wouldn't think twice about planting a seed, right? If you wanted the fruit, you would put the seed in the ground because that's where it belongs. It's natural, right? And I was like, in the same concept, in the same way, the knowledge of God belongs in the heart of man. Like that's natural and that's normal. So, yeah. So I was just kind of thinking about the process. Like sometimes that question comes like, do people really want it? That question comes kind of with a lack of understanding of like the Garden of Eden, like the creation. Because when you think about the creation, I feel like it just kind of, it makes a lot more sense about this time and where everybody's at. So, God created the world and created man on it on purpose. So mankind was created to be connected in and with God, and then to function on earth. Like we were created to establish and manifest the invisible in the visible. So that was the task. So then when Adam and Eve declared independence from God, right, the rule of death entered in the world. And the rule of death, the pattern of death was sin, right? So sin is this malfunction, which is why it creates death. But what God created was eternal and everlasting, right? Things that function are created to last. Things that malfunction break down and die. So all mankind came from God and therefore belongs to God, right? So in Genesis, when he's talking about building all the creation, he's saying, let come forth from the earth, like the vegetation. The vegetation is going to bear seed. Well, where something came from is where it belongs. So that seed belongs in the dirt, right? That's normal because that's where it came from. That's where it realizes its potential. That's where it becomes everything it was created to become. Well, in the same way, God said, let's make man in our image and our likeness. From God came us, right? And in God is our source of life. So when Adam and Eve declared independence, there was that disconnection from God. So the point is that all mankind kind of fell into the exact same thing, right? So when you think about, like, do people really want this? There's all these other religions. Yeah, well, there's all these other religions because we lost this connection with God. And then over time, people just totally went off and made up all kinds of crap because there was the power, right? There was the God of this age, right, who was blinding the hearts of the people. And so you still have that today. But I was just thinking about this concept, right? So we're all in the same boat, and there's people that just straight up don't have the knowledge. But as soon as you taste a little bit of the knowledge, you taste a little bit of function, you start to taste what it is that you were created to live in, right? Like that becomes natural and normal when you get a little bit of taste of the goodness. So for example, I was just thinking about how, in school, right, for the most part, right, like you spend your entire childhood in school. And so people think about going to college, like a lot of people say, oh, I want to be a teacher, which is great. But I think sometimes the reason why people want to be teachers is because it's the only thing, or it's the main thing that they've ever been exposed to, when you think about jobs or whatever. So because, the exposure to what else is out there in the world has been really limited, right? You only have ideas to get into certain jobs that you actually know exist. And so I just think about this concept, though. It's like, have you ever learned something that you never knew before? And when you learned it, it like changed everything. Can you think of a time or times where you learned something you never knew and you're like, wait, what?
Well,
Yeah,
I learned
that. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah.
Unless you got something?
4th grade, I learned that wrestling wasn't real. Yeah. And I was like,
WWF?
oh, man, it totally changed my perception on things.
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Your reality was...
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That'll crush you.
Right.
That's almost like knowing Santa Claus isn't real. Well, I guess he was a person, but...
Yeah. I was trying to think of another example of something I learned that I never knew.
Well, what I don't know. You had a different kind of background. What
Right.
was the turning point?
Oh, the turning point.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, there
Hey,
you go.
oh,
I
hey.
just thought about that, huh? Oh, yeah, coming from, well, knowing that there was a different way to live besides, drugs and alcohol. That, like, kind of that knowledge of, because I think when you're in the midst of that, you don't know where else to go. That's all you can think about. And, when you're in that loop, it's hard, you can't get out. So
Yeah.
when I was exposed to knowledge and information that would help me to get out, and the people that's an example of knowing a way out, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's good.
And how much of an impact has that had on your life?
Huge impact, yeah. Yeah, because I want to be where I'm at nowadays, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be sitting here and learning about I definitely wouldn't be trying to build the kingdom. I'd be destroying myself in an act of, addiction. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So, yeah, and even the knowledge, even to be transformed, that's been instilled. Like, I think going to church, and then even as a kid learning, okay, this is what, quote, you should do, or this is who God is, and, getting these labels and definitions, but breaking it down simpler into, okay, like a seed, like why are, that's how I respond, it's simpler, like we're here for a purpose, a reason, like let's cultivate and grow from there. So that knowledge is really powerful too.
Yeah.
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 I think recently, the thing we're talking about, when you learn something that changed your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think recently, I was reading some more Miles Monroe, and he was talking about, trying to think of the exact quote, but he was just basically talking about who you should associate with and who you should disassociate with. I don't want this to sound like negative or anything
but you're not coming back. I'm never coming back here again.
No. But he was talking about but I have to go.
You guys are killing me. This is what's happened.
I don't want it to sound bad, I guess, to any, I guess I really don't care. But he's talking about like who you should associate with, who you shouldn't associate with, and he quoted someone else in his book, and he was talking about like how so often we live by the expectations of other people because we just care so much about, like, so much of, even if it's just subconsciously behind the scenes, we do things, say things, think things just because based off of how we view other people or how other people view us. So I was just thinking when I read that, like these three big areas of pretty much anyone's life, or it would be spiritually, relationally, and professionally, but all that can be so altered just by how you think somebody views what you're doing or what you want to do. Spiritually, like how you view who God is, relationally, like how a relationship should look, or professionally, like what should you do with your time, or how should you make money, or whatever. Those three things like can get so skewed. So when I read that, it almost like it was like a I don't know. It was a sense of peace, because like why does it matter? Like, really, why does it matter what anybody else in the world would ever think about, these three areas of my life, and how I say who God is, or how I believe my relationship should be, or what I want to do with my time, and how I want to make money and all that stuff. So I think the way, I don't want it to sound bad, is like there's people that you need to listen to and take advice from and have counsel from, but there's also this point where it's like, just whatever it is you want to do, or however it is I don't know, I guess I don't want to say, like, because there's some things that are not good, but taking so much out of from other people's expectations for your life can limit you. And I think it can alter the reality that you see, or you can alter the vision that you see and change it to a negative reality. But yeah, so that was just something that opened my eyes. It brought some peace, because it was like, why does it matter what other people think about what I do, or who I'm dating, or whatever, or who I say God is. And
well, are you dating somebody?
No. No, but if it was, like why would it matter? Unless it was like, somebody giving, like,
I'll tell you if it
wisdom,
matters or not.
wisdom or something like that. But
yeah. Totally. Yeah.
But he was just talking about like how some people will voice their vision, and then it will just get shut down immediately by family or friends or coworkers or whatever. But it's like, who cares? What does it matter what they think?
Right.
So that was something that opened my eyes up, that changed reality.
Yeah, I think it's just that idea that you can receive an idea that you never thought about before, and it can totally change your perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, that is the kingdom of God, where you get into this absolutely fertile soil, longing for the truth, but just like wouldn't maybe never voice it, would never know how to communicate it, don't maybe just totally confused. But then all of a sudden you hear this thing, man, that is a part of the fiber of your being. And you're like, what the freak? Like, that's the kingdom of heaven, right? Jesus talking about like he says, guys, you got to freaking look out at the field because it's harvest time. Like, so, I mean, what is like a farmer's mentality in harvest time?
Probably, yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. Quality was one thing that came to my mind. Like, so the quality of the grain, because you separate chaff from the grain. So there's got to be a separation process. There's also got to be like a timing process, quality and timing. So if you harvest too late, it's too dry, the grain will fall on the ground. It won't be collected. If you harvest too wet, it'll mold and it'll spoil. So timing and quality and yeah, I mean it's a process. It's an intricate process.
And if the timing is right, what is the mentality?
Oh yeah, like yeah, let's get it done.
Get it done. Get after it. Like because there is a window.
Yeah.
Can't make hay when the sun's shining, or you do make hay when the sun's shining.
Want to make hay when the sun's shining. You want to make
hay when the moon is shining.
Yeah.
I think I heard one time.
Yeah. Rake hay when the moon's shining.
Rake hay while drinking moonshine. Got it. Yeah. Right. So he's like, the harvest is ripe. So here's what was happening though. So the disciples were in town buying food, and Jesus was kicking it with this lady, right? And he's like, shoot, I'm thirsty. And so he just starts having this conversation with this lady, right? And she has no idea who he is, right? She's just talking to a guy, right? A Jewish guy. And she's a Samaritan, and she's out in the middle of the day, which is, she's a bit of an outcast. Well, anyways, they're just talking, right? And Jesus is talking to her, and she doesn't really understand what the heck he's talking about, and she's sidestepping some things or whatever. But he's just like, but his heart for her is like just on fire, right? He asked for water, and she's like, but you shouldn't really be talking to me because you're Jewish. And he's like, man, if you had any idea who I was and why I came, like you would ask me for water. Like he just like this, his heart for this lady and her misconception, he just kind of explodes, in the most glorious way. But anyways, through this encounter, right, he tells her, he's like, hey, why don't you go back in town and get your husband? And she's like, I don't have a husband. He's like, that's correct. He's like, you've had 5, and the man you're with right now isn't your husband. So what you just said is very correct. But this, like, she's like, wait, what? Right? Like, yeah. So, like, Jesus brings this word of knowledge, if you will, right? And it's just like, so she's getting this taste, right? He's like, man, if you had any idea who God actually was, like, you would ask me for water. And he's like, just gives her a little insight into her life. And then she's like, well, the Messiah, when he comes, right? Like, he'll make it all clear. She's like, homegirl.
Right.
That is me.
Yeah.
So she has this encounter with just a man, where then she encounters like the Son of God, right? She just thought it was just another guy, and finds out that like she literally, through this demonstration, this conversation, she literally meets Jesus. And so because of that, she runs back into town, and she's like telling everybody, she's, dude, this guy out here just told me everything I ever did. He's like, you guys got to come out to the well. Which is interesting. My wife's doing like this Bible study with these girls, and they were talking about how, because she was an outcast, and she, like, typically the women weren't out there like in the middle of the day, she was out there by herself, like it would have been that much crazier for her to go and talk to all these people who would have considered her an outcast. But anyway, she goes in, she's like, dude, this guy she has this encounter with Jesus. Mm-hmm. She runs back to town and says, you've got to taste what I just tasted, right? So this entire town is coming out, and the disciples come. They're like, dude, you got to eat. And Jesus is like, guys, you have no idea what's going on right now, right? The harvest is ripe, right? It's like, he says, look at the fields, Like, take a look, because it looks like something. There's something specific. It looks like it's visible. You can see it. And here comes this entire town coming out here, right? And so Jesus starts talking with them, and they're like, dude, you got to stay with us. So he stays with them for 2 days. And then, like, many of them, right? Not all of them, but many of them, they said, look, we believe because of what the woman said, but now we believe because we actually heard you and encountered you. He's like, and now we know that you are the Savior of the world. I mean, it's like, that is the harvest is ripe, where some demonstration of what the kingdom actually is awakens, what is ever so natural. Like, what belongs there, the knowledge of God, of who he is and who you are in him, like, that belongs in the heart of every single person. And he's like, dude, the harvest is freaking ripe. Mm-hmm. And there's the concept where it's like 2 Corinthians 4 or something like that ish. And he's talking about how, the God of this age has blinded the hearts of unbelievers. So you think about being blinded, right? Like, now you can't see, it's dark, right? So darkness, the kingdom of darkness speaks of ignorance, or like the lack of knowledge, where then the kingdom of light is knowledge. So, further down, he says, but God said, let light shine out of the darkness, right? And he caused the light to shine. I don't know, but it's something about like the knowledge of God to be inside of your hearts, which is the face of Christ. And so it's just this concept, right, where darkness, right, and the kingdom of darkness thrives on ignorance, the lack of knowledge, where the kingdom of light reigns through knowledge. And it's just that concept of, you can't apply what you don't know. You can't believe in something you've never heard of, right? Especially when you're talking about like the unseen. If you can't see it, you gotta have some kind of knowledge of it, and you have to have some kind of actual experience in it. So Paul says, well, Frick, how's anybody going to know if nobody goes and preaches to them? But how's anybody going to preach if nobody ever sends them, right? It's like there's this fact that you hold the knowledge of God, and people, though they might not, it might take a hot second to process. So you might get some weird faces. You might get to the, whatever, man, I don't need that. And then they go home and they're like, what the crap? Because you plant a seed, and whether the farmer's awake or asleep, that thing grows. Mm-hmm. It's God who makes it grow. Like, we water, we plant, whatever, but it's God who makes it grow. And you just, because that word belongs there. There's that other parable where the kingdom of heaven is like a farmer who goes out and scatters seed, right? That seed's the word of God. And so some fell on the path, some fell in the rocky places, some in the weeds or whatever. But then some landed in the good soil. Like, you will have that, where you will have it, where you scatter some seed, like the reality of the kingdom. You demonstrate the kingdom, and it'll fall in some soil where it doesn't produce anything, or it produces something real quick, but then it dissipates. But then you got some of this seed that not only does it grow, but it reaps a harvest 30, 60 to 100 times more than was sown, right? Like, there's this visible reality of growth and increase in God. Yeah, but the harvest is ripe. Is waiting for you to harvest it up. I was thinking about a couple things that I forgot, but do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, I like what you said about, if you don't know the knowledge, if you're, how many people are working, 9 to 5, or just working like we've talked about to get the paycheck, or like, man, if I can make this much money, I can get this new car, and then I can, get that big house or whatever. And like we've talked about, like, there's nothing wrong with that stuff, but like having the knowledge of why you're here is really powerful. Like, you know, like designed with a purpose, just like any other plant or animal. Like, and having that, and like, okay, so if knowledge is in you, you know, asking God, okay, well, direct my path, help me on that. Because I believe if you wake up and you put the footwork in and you continue to go with some vision and direction, that those paths will be lined up for you. At least in my experience, they've had that, but I've had to put the footwork in and change my thinking about, well, you know, I don't care about making a ton of money or whatever, because that's never. But what am I doing for my God-given purpose is can put a lot of peace on one's shoulders. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, when you kind of align yourself with that, and it's like you kind of get that, like, a good feeling when you align yourself with that.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing something you don't want to be doing or shouldn't be, it's like kind of like, you know, it just makes things a lot harder to push through. It's like walking through mud. So, yeah, knowledge, having that's been powerful.
Yeah. Getting sucked into the mud.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like if you don't know how to, like, you know, bake a cake, whatever, you're just gonna throw a bunch of ingredients together and
out comes a hot dog.
out comes a hot dog. Who knows? It's not gonna be as good as you'd like it to be. I think people can really misconstrue. I know I can misconstrue truth or misconstrue things and just come up with all this stuff. You know, all these craziness, and yeah.
Yeah, too. I was thinking, you know, there's some people who will absolutely reject the message, but then there's some people who won't. But then there's some people who just, they have the wrong information, right? Like, so you talk about, like, communicating, right? If you think about, hey, you know, God loves you, or you think about, man, you know, what do you think about Jesus or something like that? Well, when you think about Jesus, you have this picture, this image, you got these experiences and this and that. But if this other person, you know, who knows what their experience has been, you know, like maybe that somebody close to them died and they believe that Jesus killed him, right? Like, oh, that was his time to go. And he's like, you know, how come my dad's not around? You know, why would God leave me abandoned, right? So his view of Jesus is inaccurate, but it causes his perspective to look a certain way. So people can hold an image of who God is, and that image can be incorrect. So your approach in that situation, which the approach always is, really is to demonstrate the kingdom. You know, because so here's this woman at the well who the law of the Jew, I don't know, but like the Jews were not to associate, they didn't associate with the Samaritans. You know, so here's this lady who's got this kind of idea of who Jesus is and everything, but Jesus's heart was like, if you had any idea who I was in my heart and how I thought about you, right, you would have asked me for water. So, like, sometimes people have the incorrect image, but it's the demonstration of the actual true nature and character of God that causes them to then rethink what they once thought. Like the light of that knowledge. Because I think we talked about it before, but it's like when you hold up a lie right next to a truth, that lie doesn't stand a chance, right? I mean, that truth is concrete and irrefutable. But when the truth is somewhere over there, I don't know, maybe this is the truth. You know, all you have is what's in front of you to base it off of. Then it's easy to get jacked up.
Sure.
But yeah, holding the right information is necessary. But yeah, when you guys think about, you know, just this concept of like the harvest is ripe, and, you know, Jesus is like, freak, man, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. When you think about that mixed with the fact that one day, like, we all stand before Jesus and we'll give an account of our lives, like, how do you see those two realities at play in your life, or how do those affect your focus, or, how do you see those in your purpose in life?
Mm-hmm.
What was the
question? What was the topic again?
Oh, my food is the harvest.
My food is to do the will of him who sent me.
Yeah.
And to finish his work.
Yeah. So yeah. So is he talking about like just being sustained by doing that will?
I just don't think there's nothing above the reason why he came and the reason why he was there.
Totally. And then the second part was about giving an account for what you do with those things that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thinking about these, like that our job is to demonstrate the kingdom of heaven, and then at the end of it, you will give an account. Like, how does that work in your mind parts?
Yeah, it's easy to get sidetracked sometimes just by life, just by I don't know.
Taco
I think,
Tuesdays. Taco
It
Tuesdays.
is, yeah.
And Wednesdays.
I think that's just a reminder that everyone should be reiterating daily about that being the purpose, that being the overall, regardless of what you do, regardless of who you're with, what where you're at in life, or what stage of life, college, professional, still in high school, regardless of all that stuff. Like that's the plan. That's your plan. Because I think just the least productive person in all that is someone distracted. Somebody, even if you might think it's good things at the time, but
Right.
I think it's just easy to let life just kind of I don't know. I think it's just easy to lose sight of that bigger purpose. You get so caught in the details, or you get so caught in other stuff going on in your life, or I don't know, money issues, family issues, whatever, and you just forget that. And it's just sometimes it's hard to realize that each day is passing by during all that, and it's just like you can't get those days back, you can get that time back.
Yeah, that's real.
So yeah, I think it's just important, to remember that and wake up to that daily perspective instead of waking up to crap like, oh my gosh, I really screwed up yesterday, or like waking up to stuff like, oh my gosh, do I got to go do this again today? Just waking up to that, like that overall purpose is extremely important, because I know I've gotten distracted. I've forgotten about that at times, and it's because no matter what you do, if it's not part of that, if what you're doing is not part of that bigger plan, that bigger purpose, that to do God's will, to what was the second part of that? Do God's will, to
Finish
just
his
influence
work.
people. Yeah. Then what are you doing, really? So yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to remind ourselves of that daily, instead of the other crap that everyone else is worrying about. Like, what else in life is so important that it takes precedence over that, or should take precedence over that? I don't know. Nothing. I've been hearing stuff like, not like hearing voices, but like
Jerry,
just like is this gonna add another hour to your life? Like, this has taken away so many hours previously. This has taken away so many hours of your life already. Like, is thinking about the stuff that concerns you or gives you anxiety or stresses you out, is it gonna add anything?
No. You keep trying though.
So I think what you were saying, what I don't even remember what the question was, but like just having that, focusing on that is extremely important.
Whatever it was, whatever you're focusing on, it's good to focus on it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, like we talked about before, it's, you can carry that presence or that peacefulness and joy and contentment with you wherever you go. I mean, demonstrate that you see that with people all the time, they're frowning or in a hurry or displeased about something, and who knows what's on their mind, but I think having that knowledge, like we've talked about, that retraining your thinking, like Paul talks about. Can't even think of the be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like when you have that and you practice it, practice, you can really get some results in how you interact with people, kind of like with what Logan was saying, on a daily basis. Even if it's like you don't even do much for the day, but you maybe have one quick conversation with someone. It doesn't need to be all like, something that like Jesus would have, like some kind of, well, don't you know the kingdom's come and all that, but just having a like, hey, like a simple like conversation, like talking with someone and being a comfortable presence, and then planting a seed within that person. They could say, well, he seems like a pretty peaceful guy, and like, knowing if that conversation went later, then you could explain what's happened in your life and how what you've learned and all that is influencing your life today. So just taking, like you said, wherever you go.
Yeah.
And in daily, waking up with not really sure how the day is going to go, but trying to set a direction towards taking things on, and so that, like you talked about, giving an account of how your life is, right? Like, okay, well, set some intention for each day to do the best you can to live out that purpose. And some days are going to be more fruitful than others, but that's okay.
Do you think when we were talking about Jesus said his food is to do the will of God, his sustenance is to be in that will, like, do you think when you're in that will that you believe God has for your life, or whatever you believe his will is for your life, when you pursue that, when you're in that, you become like your most natural self? Then that most natural self becomes like your most influential. I think so. You become your most influential when you're in that. Sure. When you're pursuing what God's will is for your life, and you almost become your most natural self in that, and then you start to almost blossom into your most influential state because of that, because of all that stuff. I don't know. That's just what I thought. Do you think that's like maybe what he was talking about a little bit? Like Jesus' purpose was to come, do these, teach, and counsel, and then obviously take the cross for the sins of the world and rise again. So him being in that and doing that every day, he became his most natural self in that, and had the most, like if he was so focused on his carpentry or whatever else he was doing, like he might not have been in his most natural state, had as much influence on the people that he could have had influence on, but because he stayed in that purpose, he was his most natural self. I don't know. That's just what I was thinking. Like you become sustained when you're your most natural self, because you're not influenced by all these outside things that might cause hunger for other things, or stuff, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like everything's operating in its most natural state: mind, body, spirit, everything else. Right. When you're pursuing that will that God has for you. Right. So your influence becomes greater, and then you're not hungered by all these other outside things. Maybe, I don't know. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, I think, one, when you have a clear vision and the right reason to get after it, right? When you can get what you picture and you can get your emotions in that same direction, that it's possible and this is what God has for you, then it does bring about that peace. It can bring about that focus. Like, where opposed to, like, if you have an idea, but you're like, I don't know if I should do it. Like your mind's going one way, your emotions are going the other way. And then you've got like this total doubt of like, is this even God? Is this me? Right? Like, you're just a big friggin' hot mess. Right. Yeah. But having that clear direction, that clear purpose, then because then it's like, it doesn't matter if you get a couple roadblocks, if you get people who don't want you. You know, because some people just saw Jesus. Like, for instance, he went to his hometown. He been having all, you know, he was hanging out with this like massive group of people, right? He gets into a boat, like he's been spending time with them. He gets into a boat, goes across the lake or whatever, gets to there's this guy demon possessed in the graveyard or whatever. Heals this guy, essentially the town. Well, delivers the guy, sends the demons into the pile of pigs. Pigs go and kill themselves. So the town comes out because the pig farmers are like, dude, here's what happened. Dude, what everybody sees this guy in his right mind. They're like, dude, that's it. You need to leave, right? So they literally just got there, right? Delivers this guy who's been like, you know, the people have chained him up. They've done all these things, you know, at night he howls and he breaks the chains, blah, blah. You know, it's like, so here's this guy in his right mind and people are like, that's it. This guy got, you know, Jesus has to get out of here. So
it's amazing, like, just thinking about that, because he's in his right mind, and like, so he's doing these miracles, you know, and they're just again, the knowledge or their impression of this guy is that he's a lunatic,
right?
You know, and I think people, like you were saying, it's easy to get that and twist the truth around and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So they just landed here from this big, massive group of people, and then he heals this one guy, and then everybody asks him to leave, right? So then they leave. They go back. All right, then a few days later, they go to Nazareth, right, back to his hometown. And he starts telling them all this stuff, and the people are amazed. But then after they're amazed, they get offended. They're like, this is like the son of Joseph and Mary, right? Like, we know their kids are with us. Like, who does this guy think he is? At first, they're amazed. They're like, wait, what? And then all of a sudden, all they see is the son of Mary. They don't see the son of God. They see the son of Mary. They're like, yeah, whatever, dude. And he says, all Jesus could do is heal a couple people. Probably because those are just the only people who would actually came to him. But it's just interesting. You know, then he goes away and gets surrounded by a massive group again. But it's like, I think then maybe he goes heals that one guy's daughter or something. But it's just interesting, you know, or he would go from a massive group, cross the lake, to a new group who's like, dude, you got to leave. To then he'd go back to his hometown. We're like, man, how dare you talk to us like this? We know where you grew up, you know? It's just like.
Didn't let it influence him, though.
No, because it's like that stuff doesn't matter, because when you know where you're going and you know what you're doing, then obviously obstacles are just something that you go around. Like, there's always going to be people who don't want it, but you're after the people who do. I mean, Jesus is like, dude, freaking, right? Then the Pharisees were at some point, they're like, why do you keep eating with these people? Like, all these sinners. He's like, shut your face. It's not those who think they're righteous who I came for. I came for those who know that they're sinners. So it's like you're out there for a certain purpose, for a real reason. Yeah, but, you know, I mean, this life, but I think too, what can get confusing is that we think, well, if we don't do these things, then God doesn't love us, right? Because, you know, we talk about, hey, at the end of the day, dude, we're going to stand before God and give an account for our lives. But, dude, we have to continue to understand what our role is, why God actually created the world and us. Jesus restored what was lost, which was us as our sonship. You know, we became raised with Christ. This is like Ephesians 2. This is when we were dead in our sins, you know, Christ died for us, so that the life that he lives, like when we died, we were raised to life with him and seated with him in heavenly places, right? Because we are united with Christ. Jesus said, you know, and maybe that's John 14, he's like, he's talking to the disciples, and, you know, it was the night before he was going to die, and he says, he's like, I'm going away, but you know where I'm going. They're like, no, we don't know where you're going. He's like, you know, you guys know the Father. And he's like, no, we don't really know the Father. And Jesus is like, how could you say that, since I've been with you for so long? This is Jesus talking as if he's the Father. And he says, don't you believe that I'm in the Father and the Father is in me? Like, don't you recognize me? It's just interesting, because in that same way, Jesus says, the Father sent me. Jesus was the exact representation of the Father. He says, as the Father sent me, so I send you. Right? It's like, we're united with Christ and we're seated, connected with him in heavenly places. Like, it's like, so if we can understand, again, that reality where we become adopted into sonship, we become citizens, and then we become ambassadors, right? Where we represent the kingdom of heaven on foreign soil, if you will. So it's not just like, hey, I got to do these things. I got to tell people about Jesus. Otherwise, I'm going to end up in hell, right? It's like your motivation becomes skewed, but that's incorrect information. It's from our position in God that then we find out, holy crap, the reason why the world exists and mankind is on it was to manifest the kingdom of heaven on earth. That's always what it was. So what Jesus said, he said, go into all the world and make disciples of all nations, right? What he say in the Garden of Eden, he says, go and subdue the earth, right? Fill it. Cause everything to increase, make babies, totally fill the earth and subdue it, right? To make it conform to the pattern of the garden. Well, Jesus said, go into all the world and make disciples of all nations, right? Teach them to think, act, and feel like I do, right? Teach them to obey my commands. So it's the thing is the same. So everything we have to be able to do that. So it's not about guilt and shame and this and that. This is talking about like, this is where we all belong, and people are kind of wandering around in an illusion. Or some people are frustrated, they're broken, they're jacked up, man, they're beat up, and they're just, all it takes is just a little demonstration. People freaking encounter God because of your presence, because of the words you spoke, because of the message that you have. People literally encounter God because of you, because we're the agents of heaven on earth. Like, that is our job and our role. People talk about, oh, well, God has it. Or, well, it's God's under control. God's in control. No, look, we misunderstand what the freak sovereignty actually means, because we think sovereignty means that God controls everything. No, he's the absolute authority. But he gave us the job to function on earth. God's not making people do different things that would negate free will, which he gave us on purpose, right? Otherwise, love wouldn't be love, it'd be forced. It'd be a program, but it's not. Mm-hmm. So free will is a real thing. And our job is to demonstrate and affect influence on this world so it turns into the kingdom of heaven. Like, right? Jesus said, pray like this, that our Father who is in heaven, let your will be done on earth just like it is in heaven. Like, that's the mandate, that's the call, that's the will of God. And it's our job as ambassadors to help people taste and see the true kingdom that everybody came from. Amen. Yeah. So my good peoples, the harvest is ripe. Go get you some.
Get the work boots on.
Go get your cowboy hats on, your bell bottoms.
Yeah, those chaps on.
Go get those chaps, those buttless chaps.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
I want to work on this farm.
Yeah.
I'm not working on this farm.
Get some cheapies, jerpies. What is that jerky you were talking about?
Oh yeah,
cracklins.
Crackling.
Get your crackling and your banjo and your straw.
Fill your pockets full of cracklins.
It's a long day in the field ahead.
Yeah. So where your potential be realized, tell you that much right here, right now. Come on, somebody.
Get the banjo.
Get the banjo. Boom, boom, boom.
We'll all have a rocking chair on the porch with the banjo at the end of the day.
Bam. Come on, somebody. Gonna have to expand the porch.
But right now we got to get some work done.
Go get you some 30, 60, 100 times yielded more than what was planted. Come on, somebody. Go get you some. Till next time. Peace.